Hello everybody and welcome to the Awesomenauts League with Bets. My name is SlowWolf and I'm going to be your caster for this final match in the series between Team IWTN and Team Boss. The series so far being tied up 1-1, both games being extremely close, lots of fun to watch. I cannot wait to see how this turns out. So let's just go ahead and get this party started in 3, in 2, in a 1. Go! So as you guys can see, we're on Ribbit 4. I like this map a lot. There's a lot to do with teamwork, a lot to do with balance, a lot to do with just... It's a really good map. I like it a lot. And we have got some really good teams on it, so I can only expect that it'll be a very entertaining matchup. On the red team, we've got Team Boss. We have Cannoli on the Gnaw, we've got Bowser Slave on the Clunk, and we've got Kirby Derby on the Leon. On the blue team, we have Team IWTN. We've got Barbie replacing Team Man Barbs, or Big Man Barbs, or maybe it's the same person, I don't know, with a different name, who knows. We got Svong on the Ayla, and we finally have Kurt on Leon. So this is going to be a very interesting match. Again, the team makeups are very different. That's been a theme in this series. No real mirror matches. Both teams going for very different strategies in both cases. In fact, this is a very different strategy. Team IWTN's team makeup is a very different strategy than what they had in the first game. In the first game, they had an all-defensive team with like Durple and Yuri and Skoldir. Like, it was all about Skoldir throwing people into bad things. This game, it's all about the late game aggression. They've got Ayla, they've got Frog, and they've got Leon, but they have to survive that long to get at that point. As it stands right now, they've got very little lane clearing ability without getting horribly punished by the other team, and the other team being a Gnaw, who is extremely powerful in this map. In fact, so many people hate him in this map that they just, anytime they see Gnaw, they just rage. Me included, actually. I absolutely hated Barbie taking a lot of damage. He's going to take a lot of poison damage to boot. He's going to end up dying for it. Yes, he is, because that health was gone. Cannoli taking a bunch of damage from Rage. He's going to get away. No, he's not. Cannoli's going to end up dying to Kurt's tongue. And Savong, in return, also going to die to tongue into explode into death. So, Team Boss showing off the same strategy that they had last game. Going for Leon into Clunk explode. It's a powerful little combo. It hurts a lot. And it works pretty much all the time. So Team Boss going for the tried and true and tested strategies that they know and love. And they're going very much for an early game between the Gnaw actually being an extremely early game hero and like an early game Gnaw. He just puts down weedlings, he pushes lanes, he does everything. And sort of at the same time. It isn't until late game where he kind of falls off, drops off, drifts off even. And will that even happen is the question here. We've got 3 extremely late game Gnaws on the blue team, and I'm not sure if they'll be able to last the night sort of deal. But we'll see. They've been playing extremely well. They can bring this back. Right now, things are looking really good for Team Boss. They've got this top turret down to almost nothing. They got this bottom turret down to about 2/3. Boss is, like Bowser Slave, is just going up and tanking the turret and dealing damage whenever he can. It's being really annoying. Actually, the blue team is not able to keep up in both places at the are not able to keep up in terms of the lane clear. And the top turret's going to go down right here. Yeah, it goes down. Bowser Slave getting the last hit, so he's going to pick up all of that solar. And now the red team is going to work on this bottom turret, and they've got Gnaw to just keep the lanes clear. Like, again, look at this. The 2 weedlings are enough to just keep this from pushing the wrong way, and he's going to pick up a decent amount of farm from it, even if he's not there. Notice the aggressive weedling placement as Cannoli puts down those weeds to just kind of annoy the Team IWTN and force them to not be able to farm very well. Cannoli doing a really good job of doing jungle denial in this level. That's another reason why so many people hate it. And this bottom turret is going to take a lot of damage, and it's going to go down to Bowser Slave again. I'm not sure who got the last hit there, but 2 turrets down in 4 minutes with 2 kills to boot. That is a lot of extra money. Kirby Derby taking a bunch of extra damage, and unfortunately, Team IWTN not able to quite capitalize on that as everybody kind of runs away except for Savong, who goes back up to attempt to farm, but having a difficult time against this Gnaw. Even while enraged, just taking that extra damage from poison is painful. Barbie takes out some stuff there. Cannoli just manages to get away as Kurt unfortunately follows the wrong way. Cannoli doing a really good juke there. And look at this. We got the Solar Boss team being taken down. Boss picks it up. So 2 turrets, a Solar Boss, and 2 kills in the span of 4 minutes and 30 seconds. They are showing an extremely strong Solar lead right out of the gate. And that is with very few, if not almost no, solar items. Gnaw being the only one to pick them up right now, being Piggy Bank. And they have this massive solar advantage because of it. Granted, it's a solar advantage that can be brought back, as it is objective-based stuff. It's not, you know, all kills. But at the same time, it's definitely going to be tough for them to do so. Gnaw already hitting the 1,000 solar mark 5 minutes into this game. He's hitting the mid-range solar game. And it's early. It's very early. That's Gnaw's greatest strength, is that he can get to his mid-game items this quickly. And the other team, just struggling to get by. Tvong, he's got 580 solar. He's only bought base abilities, but that means he's only got 200 solar in pocket, give or take. 200 to 300 solar. And that's it. Like, he's going to have such a hard time picking things back up at this point that it's going to be very difficult for him to get to the Ayla's power in mid-game, where she really does sing out and shine. Barbie having an equally tough time. He has no solar items either. He's gone for regen to deal with the Gnaw. Very wise choice and boots. On Kirby Derby, he's managed to pick up, because of all this solar advantage, he's already managed to pick up a very strong, very painful tongue. And we can see it there with Kurt taking a bunch of damage, and he ends up dying to Cannoli's bite. Bowser Slave taking a bunch of extra damage. Is he actually going to end up going down? No, he doesn't. Barbie deciding not to chase after him. Probably wise, considering how much damage he would have taken, but Kirby Derby, and maybe a rough spot. Barbie decides instead to go after the lane creeps instead of going after Kirby Derby. Again, probably a wise decision considering how much damage Cannoli is pumping out right now with Gnaw's teeth. Tvong just sitting upstairs, waiting for a safe time to go in, and the instant he sees a bad guy, he goes, I'm not feeling so good about this. Kurt going in for some damage, gets the tongue off on Bowser Slave, but it's not going to end up doing anything. Notice this weakling placement here. It's causing the solar boss to spit constantly. And that's actually a really good place to put a weakling. It forces the other team to be very careful about where they're going and how they go about it. Barbie taking a bunch of extra damage. He's going to end up going down to bite damage regardless. So this strong early game pulling off, and in fact gets a double kill with all the poison damage that his bite's putting out. So boss making a very convincing game 3, so taking a very convincing game 3. Unfortunately, Cannoli gets humiliated by his own solar boss placement with the Weedling. So the dangers of placing Weedlings right there becoming very apparent. Nice job, Cannoli. I found that entertaining though. So Cannoli gets killed by his own strategy, poor guy. Kirby Derby taking a bit of extra damage. He's going to get tongued by Kurt. No, he's not. Kurt tongue does not quite end up hitting, connecting with Kirby Derby, and they're going to get away just fine. They're going to take out the solar boss, picking up their first solar boss of the game, and they now have 2 kills as well. Boss, unfortunately, now has a couple more kills ahead of them. They are at 5, but you know what? This is a sign of life from Team IWTN at the moment. They're doing their best to just stay in the game, and they're doing a really good job of it. All things considered, the early game has been very strongly in favor of Team Boss, but they haven't managed to die yet too badly. And unfortunately, Tvong, as I'm saying that, gets picked off by Kirby Derby's very powerful left-clicking attacks, as they now do 10 damage apiece. Nope, 8 damage apiece. Wait, no, that's right, that's 10. 10 damage apiece, my bad. They hurt. Coupled with the tongue, that's just a lot of damage. Kurt going for the more DPS route as his left click dealing 14 damage a slice. Bowser Slave gonna end up creating a big, committing a big mistake, but it's gonna get the trade on with Barbie. So that, unfortunately, for like every trade that they managed to get now on Team IWTN is a good one because they can get their people out there a little bit faster. They're a lower solar level. They have less money, so as a result they respawn a bit quicker. And every trade they get is slightly advantageous to them as it stands right now. So good getting the trade on them. Cannoli going for some harassment on Tvong. Tvong is trying to get rid of Weedlings. He's taking a lot of damage. He's just trying to survive. He's going to manage to do a good job. Barbie gets the pick off on Kirby Derby. Kirby Derby going down. And Kurt probably next on the list as Cannoli almost gets killed as well, but Kurt taking a ton of damage. Now that the spit damage on Cannoli is being maxed out between spit and bite, and then the bite also has the speed up on the dot damage. So regen effectively not going to be enough now anymore. Spit comes out, Kurt taking a bit of the damage. He's going to take out that Weedling though, and right now the jungle is empty of Weedlings. Cannoli having a hard time establishing his foothold yet again. He's going to deal a bunch of damage. He's going to get the bite off on those creeps, and he's going to get his HP back. Kurt running away from Cannoli. He's going to take a couple of bites, but he's looking for another opening. He's not going to end up finding it. The two of them bounce off each other rather evenly thanks to poison damage. Kirby Derby and Bowser Slave now going to try to take out the Solar Boss. Is anything bad going to happen to them, though? Doesn't look like it. They're going to take that Solar Boss without much of a fuss. So it's going to be at least two Solar Boss kills now for Team Boss as they establish their solar lead. So now they've got 1600, 1300, and 1300. Oh, bite coming out, snare exploded. Kurt goes down. Bowser Slave almost gets picked off. He's gonna get picked off. Savong manages to pick off the kill with Rage. Savong is not done yet, though. He manages to deal a bunch of extra damage to the rest of Team Boss. Team Boss just gonna go upstairs instead. So Savong doing a good amount of work, getting the trade off. Cannoli gets a good spit and forces Savong all the way back home. So another trade. Again, every trade is advantageous for Team IWTN right now. So long as they can keep that up, they're going to be just fine. Eventually picking up enough solar that their team can start to overpower the other. They do have a better late game by far. Oh, Kurt taking some spit damage. He wants to go in on that, but instead he's going to take out these... Oh, Cannoli taking much damage. Kurt is going to get tongued. Barbie goes in for the dash. It's not going to hit. Savong gets bits, exploded, and dead. And now the rest of the Team Boss is very low. Kurt also lower than that. Barbie's looking for a kill here, but he's going to end up having to run away as Gnaw comes in to threaten to support his Leon. So that wasn't so good. One death, no return kills, unfortunately, and Gnaw picks up even more spit damage. So that's going to be very painful. His damage now maxed out, and that's going to be a pain in the butt for like the next, I'd say, 6 minutes. It's going to be very, very difficult, even with the best play possible on Team IWTN. Team IWTN coming down to defend this bottom turret. Kirby Derby taking a lot of extra damage, but there's a snare bite that comes out on Savong. Savong takes a bunch of that extra damage. Bowser Slave running away. Barbie's doing a good job of keeping up with him. NATO coming out is going to end up killing him. Savong goes down as well, though. There's 2 kills on Boss, though. Kirby Derby goes down as well. Cannoli being the last one alive. Barbie looking for a kill, but Barbie's going to end up having to run away as he takes the entire spit to the face, which is a decent amount of direct damage followed by a ridiculous amount of spit damage. So he's going to pick up that HP, and he's going to end up being fine. But that is a 2-for-1 trade. IWTN not done yet. They're looking like they're going to go ahead and try to turn this around, but they're going to have to they're going to have to pull that off a couple more times. Cannoli taking a bunch of extra damage from both the NATO and the dash. And wow, Mutant Ninja Worms managing to actually hit him, and that's going to really hurt. So, as I just mentioned, Mutant Ninja Worms being picked up on Frog. He's got a decent amount of burst now between Hammer Prince and that. Rage being picked up on Savong, and on their Leon, they have Lifesteal and Swords. So, really good pickups for getting rid of Gnaw and for dealing with Gnaw. They managed to pick up their second Solar Boss of the game, so that puts them up in terms of their Solar. They're now a little bit closer, though they're still a little bit far behind. Kurt taking a bunch of damage. He's going to end up going down to poison. No Wheatlings. Bowser Slave tries to get the snare bite and to explode, but it's gonna miss entirely. And Savong gonna get picked off by a really good tongue into spit by Team Boss. Barbie, the only one left alive. Although Team Boss really low between Kirby Derby and Cannoli, though 2 of them were really low for a second there. And if it wasn't for the large amount of regen that Kirby Derby now has, and Cannoli's ability to just pick up creep kills all over the place thanks to Wheatlings, that would have been a very different story. They would have been able to defend a lot better. Bowser Slave taking a bunch of extra damage from Barbie. Barbie unable to land that last Mutant Ninja Worm, and a good bite coming out of Bowser Slave and ended up going to save him. Kirby Derby ends up picking up this bottom turret now. Is looking really grim for the blue team as the blue team struggles to hold on as the early game 4th Team Boss really proves to be much stronger than it needed to be. Barbie ends up picking up a kill on Kirby Derby, though, and that pickoff comes without any cost, it seems. Kurt going in, but there's Bowser Slave. He's looking to try to catch Kurt unaware. Kurt knows that that's happening, though. Cannoli coming down as well. Bowser Slave might be able to catch it, but he can't quite snare bite him. Kurt comes in. He's going to do the tongue. He's going to do the slashes. He's going to get the kill. The snare bite explode, misses. Bowser Slave gets picked out of the middle of nowhere. Bad timing, bad placement, and IWTN manages to pick up a 3-team wipeout. 3-man wipeout, and they're going to go ahead and get this push going on. Now with Kurt's obscene amount of left-click damage, like because of that, they're going to be able to do a lot of damage onto this turret. Look at this, already huge amount of damage. It's down to half. This thing is melting, and this is gone, absolutely gone, as Team IWTN picks up their first turret, putting themselves on the board in terms of objectives. So this is turning out to be a fairly large turnaround. I was thinking that this late game was coming a little bit later, but a little bit of dash damage coupled with all of the damage that Leon can do is enough, apparently, to send Gnaw in particular. His power seems to have completely dropped off. Oh, he deals a bunch of damage. Kurt's taking it. Cannoli takes a couple of bites. Kirby Derby's running as fast as he can. And another 20 solar going to each member of Team Boss as Bowser Slave picks up a solar boss for his team. So that's pretty good for them. They're getting the money that they need. They're getting the money that they want. Kirby Derby ends up picking up Backstab and Party Mask. So he's going for the burst route instead of going for the DPS route that Kurt seems to have decided to favor in this game. Kirby Derby gets dashed. The tongue misses, unfortunately, out of Kurt. Snare Bite into lots of damage, into death. Kurt goes down. Bowser Slave running away now from Savon. Oh, but that looked rough for a second there. Is everybody going to die? No, Kirby Derby ends up getting away. He ends up dealing some burst. Savon trying to chase. He manages to chase Cannoli, doing some bites. Bowser Slave looking to get some way in, but he's really low. Everybody's really low. Barbie's looking to get a kill. He manages to pick up another kill on there. Cannoli and Barbie are the last two left alive. Dash coming out. Cannoli now in a much better position in terms of this duel. A bite comes out. He's running. He's biting. He's running. He's biting. And that dot is enough. Oh, it wasn't enough. It had to be the bite damage to end up getting the kill. And that was really well played by both players. But Cannoli just edging out the win in that particular duel. And that ends up being a 3-for-2 trade. So Cannoli looking really good right now in terms of that level of play. That was excellent to watch and see. That being a 5, almost everybody died there. That was really entertaining. But this bottom turret being pushed in slowly by the blue team now. Team Boss should probably end up thinking of doing something about it, as that's going to deal a fair amount of damage. Kirby Derby coming in to help support that. Whereas Cannoli at this point, he's back in base. The blue team manages to pick up another solar boss. So that gives them another 20 solar apiece. I believe that is their third, giving them 60 solar a pop, which is really quite enough to make them more or less happy as everyone starts to head into their late game item builds before it gets into the ultimate item builds. So that's the way I'm putting it. Past 3,000 people are starting to max out and stuff, so I'm going to call that ultimate item builds. Kurt goes in for a tongue, but it's not. It doesn't hit anybody. Does not find its mark. Barbie takes a little bit of damage. Kirby Derby is looking to get the jump on somebody with his invisible, but the blue team knows. The blue team knows that that's there. Like, there's no way that they don't. Oh, Boss taking a bunch of damage. But Bowser Slave is going to end up missing everybody. Savong takes a bunch, and he's going to end up dying to Cannoli. Kurt takes a tongue back into the poison. Barbie getting harassed out of there, and Kirby Derby just going to pick up this damage. And now everybody on the Team Boss is just going in for the kill. They see an opportunity here. Boom, explodes, going to hit Barbie. Barbie does not go down, but yeah, and on top of that, Kirby Derby's down here, split pushing, hitting the base, making sure that that Barbie can't really defend efficiently because he has to defend this core. So now this turret up here is going to go down very easily. Kirby Derby doing some damage to this turret. But now the blue team, it's back in. IWTN looking to try to maybe get a team wipe and get some push going on. With Kurt's build, they can really rip down towers. As we saw before, they took one out in a matter of seconds. All they need is a good team wipe, and they can just push to win. As it stands right now, though, they have an open core against the Leon. We mentioned in the last game how this was a problem for Team IWTN as they were dealing with the Coco and the Leon on Aguillon, and that ended up being their undoing, was invisible people poking the core. And this game looks like it's going to be more of the same, as we've got Cannoli coming down here. Kirby Derby's up here. He's just doing his thing. He's farming. He's zoning. He's just being a presence, which is what the Leon do. Cannoli comes in up here. He gets dashed. He gets raged. He's going to end up surviving. Bowser Slave coming in with an explode is going to end up hitting Tavong and killing him. Kurt now stuck against this Cannoli. Cannoli ends up actually getting killed by Kurt. Now Kurt's a little bit low. He's taking a lot of damage. He's going to need to think about running away. Bowser Slave, on the other hand, alongside his buddy Kirby Derby, are going to go ahead and take out a huge chunk of this base as they just left-click it with all these droids. I can't even count how many there are. There must be at least 6 or so on there, and they all hurt. And look at that. Base goes down to next to nothing. Kirby Derby's going for it. He's going as hard as he can. Kurt can't go in there. He can't go in there, and that's the end of the game right there, ladies and gentlemen. This was much quicker at 18 minutes instead of the 30-plus minutes that we had in previous games. But that ends the series in favor of Boss. It looked like things were turning around briefly, and then a couple of really good kills by Boss ended up just turning the game right back in their favor. They started off incredibly strong with their incredibly good early game characters, early game builds, and they ended strong just by getting those couple of kills that they needed in order to cement their victory. Unfortunately, Team IWTN was unable to get to the late game items that they desperately needed in order to win this. And although Kurt really showed that he could rip down a tower, they never got the opportunity to rip down more than 1 or 2. They never even scratched the back ones. So there you have it, folks. early game against late game, and the early game just managed to pull through in the final match of the series. This has been an excellent series. I've been highly entertained. This has been amazing. I hope you guys have enjoyed it too. I'd like to thank Bets one more time for letting me cast these games, and I will see you guys in the next matches that I am able to cover. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We love you all.